So you've just created your first character in Albion Online, whether it was a recommendation from a friend or you just wanted to play an MMO. Now for most people who are MMO veterans, or maybe you're just new to the MMO scene for the first time ever, Albion's Online Tutorial Island does actually a pretty decent job of getting you figured out with how the game works in terms of fame, the different trees, the destiny board, etc. The only issue is once you finish their linear tutorial island, you end up in a city of your choice where for the typical MMO player who's looking for quests and things to do to kind of have some structure to the game Albion begins to almost fall apart at that point. But look no farther, because in this video I'm going to explain 3 to 4 things that you should probably know to kind of keep that spark alive within Albion Online for you. So the first and most important thing for a new player in Albion Online to do in order to kind of keep that spark alive is to join a guild. Even if you plan on being a solo player, crafter, gatherer, non-combat, etc., it's very imperative that you join a guild. Simply because there are things in Albion that just can't be done as a solo. And in fact, once you kind of hit tier 5, the game will eventually teeter off and become pointless for you, or might lose its shine simply because you're going up against the world, and literally going up against the world, as you won't have a guild tag or an alliance tag, etc. So I highly recommend new players join a guild. The other benefits of guilds are the guild islands. Now, guild islands are places where if your guild is rich enough, they have built all the crafting stations and they've leveled them up to a certain level. For example, my guild, the Yikes Nation, we have a 6 out of 6 guild island. All the buildings on it are tier 6 or 7, and they're free to use for anyone in our guild. Now, I understand that guild islands don't give you a return on refinement or return on certain resources like city buildings do, but for new players who are just starting out in the game, who don't have a lot of silver, these buildings are very helpful to get you kind of going and to kind of get your crafting focus being spent properly, etc., without costing you hands and fists full of silver. And in turn, you can start to build a profit. The other benefits to guilds are the social aspects, the abilities if you need help. Let's say you're a gatherer and you don't quite want to go alone, or you know that there's a few people who just kind of, they want to gank some players, but they could use the gatherer as bait. You can kind of see where I'm getting at with this. But most importantly, as a new player, is to join a guild. So the second most important thing for a new player in Albion Online is picking their destiny. And I say that because we have the destiny board. Whether you want to be a crafter, gatherer, combat, doesn't matter. Right now, if you're new to the game and you don't want the game to feel old, or you want to kind of make it past the first week, the honeymoon phase kind of thing, and discover this is a game for you, it's really pick what you want to do. If you're going to do combat, I suggest narrowing down the role you want to pick, something I'll break down in a later video, whether that's tanking, DPSing, or healing. Just to give you a brief overview, tanks typically use maces as they have good threat generation. They also wear either plate body and a plate helmet for some of the abilities that come with that, along with, again, the increased threat generation. If you're going to DPS, almost anything goes, of course, except using plate gear, or correction, not plate gear, tanking gear or healing gear. If you're going to use healing, you can either go single target, which I believe are the holy staves, or you can go more AoE using nature. Now, if you're going to craft or gather, that aspect, you need to think about what biome you want to, basically what resource you want to gather, and that will dictate what biome you want to be in and what major city you want to branch out of, as each biome has more abundant resources than others. For example, mountain, or the snow area, the mountain mountain biome is more ore nodes and higher chance of discovering ore nodes, while the desert area, or the steppe area as the game calls it, is more skinning, leatherworking, because there is a more abundance of animals. And same goes for the swamp area, is all about harvesting flax, cloth, etc. And the highland area is stone, and the forest area, of course, as you can guess, is for trees. So The third thing that I want to recommend to new players who are playing Albion is choosing your royal city. And by that, I mean choosing a city other than Carlion. There are a lot of videos out there that say Carlion's the best city, it's got the black market, etc. You don't really have to focus on that as a new player, simply because A, it's surrounded by red zones, so there is a chance that you could be ganked by a roaming arch squad, or the fact that when you do get there, you can't fast travel to Carlion without being completely naked. They don't allow luggage, so to speak. So with that being said, unless you've joined a guild that is based out of Carlion, I do not recommend going to Carlion. So your next options to choose from are Thetford, Limhurst, Fort Sterling, Bridgewatch, and Martlock. They are the 5 other royal cities, and with the recent update, I believe just prior to free-to-play, they added realm gates to all these royal cities. So originally Carlion was the only way in and out of the Black Zone or the Outland territories, but now with all royal cities having realm gates, it kind of the world's your oyster at that point. It's all about finding the biome you want to be in that best suits your crafting or gathering specs, and also depending where your guild is based. If you join a guild who's based in the biome that wasn't the starting one that you're in, for example, if you went to Step Cross and you joined a guild in Fort Sterling, you can easily get to Fort Sterling by traversing the blue zones in the map, and you don't have to worry about dying. However, if you join a guild who's based out of Carlion, maybe you want to ask for some help before getting to Carlion with your stuff, or maybe you just bite the bullet and travel naked via the travel planner in all the other major cities. So the last thing that a new player to Albion Online should do is take all that starting gear you got, well, not all of it, just equip only the stuff you're okay losing, because this is a full loot PvP game. And with that being said, if you enter a black zone or a red zone and you flag up or get killed by a flag player for a red zone, you will lose everything you're carrying. You don't lose your silver and you don't lose your gold, and you will not lose fame, however. So just make sure you're wearing some throwaway gear, hop into the nearest black zone by entering the realm gate in your city, pick anyone, there's usually guys camping the portals all the time, and just ride around, see if there's someone out there, and just give yourself up for the kill. Just get it over with. The first death in Albion is always the hardest, because you feel as though you've reached a certain point and you've amassed a certain amount of gear, and it's better to die with tier 2 gear for your first death as opposed to dying with tier 6 or tier 7 gear, something that's more expensive to replace. However, if you made it that point in the game, then you're doing pretty well for yourself. But as you can see here, entered the portal, bunch of guys, they surround me, they kill me. They're probably thinking, who knows what they're thinking. They're probably like, get shit on, kid, whatever. But at the end of the day, I was wearing tier 2 gear. It does matter to me. I got my death over with and I moved on. Well guys, that's it for this video. Hopefully as a new player in Albion, this gives you kind of a more of a foundation to work with and what to expect if you want to play the game Albion Online. And if you enjoy the video, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe, as I will be releasing more videos for beginners in Albion as well as advanced players. And also let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought, or maybe any other tips that you guys want to recommend to new players coming to Albion. Thanks.